Welcome. In this video, I'm going to do the email form, and then we're going to do the process the email form itself. So what I'm going to do is create a new file. I'm going to call it new. We're going to do it from the project template. Click on create. And this file we're going to save as email form. So I'm going to go into my PHP. And I'm just going to call this email form. And so I want to change this up top here. And we can call it contact us or whatever you feel is appropriate. So that takes care of this. And then we go into our template itself and we need to link to it. So here is our contact. Remember, you want to click on the A and we're going to find it, which is email form. Click on OK. So now we have a page that does absolutely nothing. So what we're going to need to do is get rid of this stuff over here because we don't need it. And I'm only going to get rid of the top part here just to save time. And I'm going to insert an email form. So first thing I think I'll just do, and for no other reason, I'll just put, please input your information, which you probably can't see. So I think I'll change it to a heading 2. And that's not working. Let's try heading 3. And that's not working. So let's just go back to AP. And that's not working. So when that happens, that's usually a font or some other issue that is there. So let's go into code and see if we have an issue. I'm going over here, hello world. And we're going to put okay, so we will go in here, and there we finally have it. So I will find out why we have it, and let's just actually change the heading 1. Okay, so we have heading 1 in here. Let's see what heading 2 does. And we have input your contact and input 3. So we'll just leave it at heading 2 and leave it at that. So the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to insert a form. And I only put the input your contact in here just so we have a little bit of a placemaker. I'm going to go to insert and I'm going to do a new form. And let's just put it an ID of it. And we'll call it email form. And our method is going to be post. So that takes care of that. So now we have a form that has basically absolutely nothing into it. So now let's move this to here and do a heading 1 and let's see what happens. So the first thing we're going to do is just copy it. And notice I say copy and not cut. And then we're going to paste it. The project may not be excessive. The file income statement is there. I'm not really sure why that's there. So that is something different. So we are going to cancel that. Let's try this one more time. And click on copy. And let's get rid of this and click on paste. And we got it this time. All right, so apparently I never copied it. Now let's do an H1 and let's see what happens. So we still have that. The reason why I did this is to show you how I can have this H1 not be affected by the coding of the other. We'll do that at the very end. Now I'm going to delete this here. So it's gone. So now we have input your contact information. Takes care of that. All right, so now we're over here. We're inside the form. So just to be on the safe side, let's get inside the form here. And we'll just be right here. Give us a little space. Now, here's one of the advantages of working in CodeView is you can see that I'm in the form here. So we have the form itself. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to insert. Then I'm going to go into form. I'm going to go into text. And I'm going to input last name. So let's refresh this. And we'll go back over here. And let's go into design mode here. And let's just call this last name. Now I'm going to show you what's going to happen when you do it in live view and in design view. So let's make sure this is required. I'm going to hit the enter key. And let's go to insert. And let's go to form. Let's go to text. Now notice a difference. This time it added a label field for us. Here it did not add the label field for us. So we want to make this required. Then we're going to do first name. And we can leave the length and all that stuff there. So now we need to change this text field over here. Let's do that in CodeView. And we have a label for first name. And then it says text field. So let's just put first name. Okay, so what we need now is a label in here. So we can just do label for last name. And we'll just do last name. And that takes care of that. So you're saying, well, that's a pain in the butt. And let's look and see if there's something that could have made it easier. Insert form. And do we have a label? If we have a label, we can do the label next time. If we don't have a label, we don't. Oh, look at this. Insert label. So let's go back down and see what insert label does. And it does the same thing for us right there, only we don't have a field. So that's one of the things that you might want to consider when you're inputting forms in CodeView, whether or not you want to have the label itself in there or not. That's a matter of taste. I'm okay with either way. It does make it easier for you to format the label, and I'll show you that as we finish this form. So now let's go back into design, and let's do the rest of the fields. So we have insert last name, insert first name, and then let's create a form field called email. And notice it put email in here. So that's good. And the name is email, and that's going to be required. However, you have to consider not everybody has email. They might just want you to call them on the phone. So you always need to take that into consideration when you're making emails a required field. For our places, we're going to make it required. We're going to insert a phone. So now we have telephone, and this we'll just call it phone. And we might not make it required, so we have to be very careful on that. And let's save this. And let's do a cell phone. And let's just make this all lowercase. So now we have to go in here, and we'll call it cell phone. And the last thing we're going to put in here is comments. So there's two ways we can do this. We can go insert, form, and we can do a standard text. The issue with that is it's going to be just the one line. So we really don't want to do that. So let's go to insert and form, and let's find a text area. From here, you can define how many rows and how many columns. The columns would make it wider, the rows would make it taller. So let's just make it 10 rows here, and you can see it's there, and columns. Let's just see. Okay, so that's not too bad. So that looks okay. So at this point in time, we're going to leave this text area. We need to change that to comments. So now we have enter your comments. I'm watching the Dolphin game, and they have 4th and goal. Dolphins have blowing a 17-point lead. And let's go over here. So we have label for text area. So we have enter your comments, and let's just change this to comments. And that takes care of that. So now, I don't know if you noticed what I did, but I made a mistake on purpose, which I do from time to time. We did the form in the template. Well, that's a problem because we want it in here. So you think, oh, it's no big deal. We can just make a new page, but we don't really have to do that. Remember, we created the form tag. Well, we have form email. So again, we're in CodeView. I'm going to cut that. I'm going to go into the email form here and in CodeView. And I'm going to make sure that where I want to be, over here we have section top. So let's go into design over here. So we want to put it right here. So I'm going to just put here, just to make it so we have a marker. We have put here. Then we'll paste it. And now we should have our form. Let's go into live view, make sure it looks good. So now we have our form here. Then we can get rid of all this other stuff. So I'm going to go into design view, and of course we want to get rid of it. And we need to delete from here all the way down to here. So I just clicked, and then I held the shift key down and clicked. Again, let's go into CodeView, make sure that we're going to delete only what we want to delete. So we're not doing the tag for the P. So let's just delete it, and then we'll delete these over here. No biggie, and we'll delete this as well. And let's go back into live view. So now we have our form. And it's a little wide here, so we may need to modify that. So let's change this to 75. And that looks good for right now. Now, it kind of looks a little ugly because it's all out of whack. We don't really like these colors here because something is already doing it. Let's get rid of this put here. And it kind of looks rather ugly. So we're going to fix that as we format it with CSS. I'm going to make a separate video on how to format it. So what we need to do now is we need to make note of the fields that we have in here. I'm going to go into code view. So I have last name, first name, email, tel, and cell phone, and comments. So actually we have phone and cell phone. So what we want to do now is let's start making these a little bit more conducive. So the email we have over here, that's fine. But the telephone, let's give it a placeholder and a pattern. So I'm going to show you the easiest way to do it, and that's just to copy and paste one that I already created. So I'm going to go into my original email form as soon as I find it. And this is already formatted nice. So this is what we're going to look like. And we have a reason for contact, which we're going to copy and paste that for right now. And let's go into code view and let's look at the pattern and the placeholder. So this is something that is very easy to do. So it's required telephone. So now we have placeholder and pattern. So what this means is placeholder is just makes it easy for people to see what they're doing, and we're going to change it. Basically, this means the pattern is a digit from 0 to 9 for 3 places, then a minus sign, then a 0 to 9 for 3 places, then a minus sign, 0 to 9 for 4 places. So we're going to copy this, then we're going to go back into our email form and find our telephone, and right after the ID equals, we'll select that. So ID equals phone, and boom. So let's go into here and see what we have. So now we have this here, and we have our placeholder. So what we could do for the placeholder is do 999-999-9999. That is something a lot of times people already associate with numbers. Let's go into code over here, and let's just copy the placeholder all the way over here. And we'll paste it right over here after the ID equals phone. And we're looking good. And let's go in here and see what we have. So we're looking good. So now what we need is the how found. And this is why I work in Design View. How found. Now, I typed it. So what I'm going to do now is untype it. And let's just do it, be consistent. We're going to insert, and we're going to do form. Only this time we're going to choose select. And let's go into select. And we're having a dilemma because it's not selecting. Okay, I'm not sure why we're not doing this. So let's go into code view and see if there's something I'm missing. And we're going to do it here. So I'm going to be in here. Let's do it here. And it might be because it was inside of this P tag. So now you're starting to see the advantages of code view. So let's go into here, form. It's not grayed out anymore. All right. So here's the moral to this, the lesson to be learned. When you have something grayed out and you don't know why, if it's in design view, change it to live view. If it's in live view, change it to design view. If it's still grayed out, go in a code view and see if you're inside of a tag. And that's what the problem appeared to be. So let's go into design view. And we'll go here. And let's go insert, form, and select. And now we have it. So that works out good. So the name, we're going to change to how found. And that really doesn't need to be required, but if you want to make it required, it's required. It's just a drop down. So we're going to do that here. Now we do our list values in here. So we're just going to type in what we want. You know, just put add web page friend and other. So that takes care of that, and we'll just put in here how found. So that takes care of this. I'm going to save this. Now I'm going to link to the email form, which I already have created. So I'm going to, at this point in time, I'm going to just go over it from top to bottom. When we go in here, we need to post and we need to link to the process email. That takes care of that. Let's save this. And let's open up process email. And we're going into code view. So now we have this stuff up here. It's just the stuff that gets created. You don't really need to worry about this here because you're not going to ever see this page. So we're starting over here. We have fields that we're going to create with names, and we don't have the how found page in here. So we need to add that, which is really very easy. And how found, and we had it through, so we need to change that to something different. So last name, we're just getting the last name from the name of the field of the form. First name, phone, cell phone, and I think this was phone, so we may need to change that to phone, which must match. Okay, email is the email, and come. Now this does not matter what order anything's in. So now we need a how found equals post and how found. And you need to have a semicolon at the end. And we'll delete this. All right, so now we have all these fields here. The mail to is who's going to get this. Then the subject, you put in the subject, whatever you want. Then you can put in the contents, building the content. So you have content equals last name, content equals first name. This dot equals means add on to it. Then we have a carriage return and a new line, which means go to the next line and go to the beginning. We're adding all our fields here, and then we're adding our comments at the end. This strip slashes is a way to get rid of any slashes that anybody might have typed in here. So then if you want to add a CC or a blind CC, you can do that through extra header. And then you have from and whoever it is, and you can carbon copy however you want to do that. Then you can have mail send, which is a variable equals. So this is either going to work or it's not going to work. So basically you want the mail to, which is right here. Then you want the subject, which is right here. You created that. Then you want your comments. You built this from all your fields. And any extra header. Extra header is optional in here. And then what we're doing here is we're checking. Okay, if mail send means did it work, then print thank you, your request will be forwarded. Otherwise, it's going to give the error message telling them that there's a problem, try it again later. And this was extra things to do, so we really don't need that. I'm going to get rid of this. And now we're good to go. So I'm going to save this. And then we're done. So that takes care of the email and the process email and a little bit of troubleshooting. You know, again, I would love to tell you when I do web pages that I don't make mistakes, that I don't get frustrated. I see things in front of me and I don't understand why there's an issue, but I've done this so many times, I know where to start looking. So when I make a mistake, sometimes I do it on purpose, sometimes I don't, and it gives you an opportunity to see what I do to troubleshoot. So let's go to our template here. And let's change this to contact/email. Click on save. And now it's going to update all of our pages. That takes care of that. And we should be good to go. So hope this helps. Have a great day.